Good morning, good morning. Welcome to my Sunday stream. I have no idea what this is about. Okay, done, okay. Security check by Google. I was having problems connecting to the stream via OBS accounts and all that sort of stuff. Welcome to the wonderful world of crossed wires digitally. Anyway, happy Sunday or Saturday night to most of my American audience. Let's get the show on the road. If you are here live and you would like to ask me a question during this stream, if you are here live, add 3 smiley faces before your question so I can see it during the chat as I'm talking, because either I focused on the stream or I focus on every comment in the live stream. How do I ban Rumblefish? This guy won't go away. How do I ban him? I'm clicking on the 3 dots on the right, and I click on remove or put him in timeout, but I can't actually ban him. Do I need to go to my account? Do I need to go to my YouTube account? I apologize, guys. How do I get rid of this guy? Okay. How do I get rid of Rumblefish? Can anyone tell me? Oh, thanks, Luke. There must be a way I can do it, though. From here, I click on the right of his avatar. Oh, okay. Thanks, Boffin. Ooh, my colors are a bit too garish. I don't like this. This is too bright. What do people think? I am going to change the filter to something a bit more pleasing. How's that? No? There was one that was good. Whoa. No. No. Don't mind me, everyone. I'm just wasting your time. Okay. That might be okay. No, it's not. I'll just go back to what I had. I haven't got time to. All right. Anyway. I don't know what it is about people like Rumblefish that know they're being a-holes and they just enjoy it. And these people's lives, they'll probably complain to their friends and they'll say the system's against them, but they can't get out of their own way and they know they get off on causing a mess. It's the same thing when I see children that are misbehaved with their parents and they're saying, oh, they're kids, you know, don't punish them, you know, the children. It's like, well, if you can't keep them in line, I don't care about them either. Like, we're supposed to have sympathy for other people's kids, other people's friends who can't control themselves, who actually find joy in knocking over vases and wiping their asses over everyone's lives and laughing and pointing at it. It's like, I don't care. Like, you've shown me the level of respect you have with other people. You show me the level of joy you have. You get off on causing pain and misery and being uncomfortable to other people, causing discomfort to other people. This person as well, this Rumblefish guy, he even said, ban me already, human. Anyway, not a nice way to start. Let's start with a discussion. which is this topic here. What are the odds that you'll find love? What prompted this to me? And again, let me go back to, if you would like to ask me a question during this live stream, if you're here, 3 smiley face or any kind of emoji faces before your question or comment, and I'll answer it. Or super chat me live here if you're live, and I'll definitely see it. It'll pop up on chat, and I will answer your question. Rumblefish, you're free to comment. Throw me $100 and I won't answer your question. All right. Hi to the regulars. Hi to my buddies, Karu, Rocket, Boffin, Peg, Big Ol, Melee, the regulars, Luke. Okay. Vero. Okay. I think that's most of the regulars. I just don't get people like that. Hey, David, how are you? All right, let's get on to the stream. Enough of this waste of time. I got a comment recently that prompted this, and I thought I'd talk about it because sometimes, you see these comments and you think, you roll your eyes, but you think, hang on a minute, this is very common. People actually believe these, like, I think it's a joke. I think this person's having a joke. They're not being serious, but they actually are, or if they're not, it's such a meme that everyone believes it's true, or that it is very common, or that it's to be expected. The comment I got, that again, I'm not saying is not real or is not true, but it made me think. The comment was by Zaranthus. He says, as Aaron Clary loves to say, only 3% of women are worth marrying, and the men ain't doing much better. There's plenty of fault on both sides. I agree with this, and why I wanted to showcase it on today's stream is that if you're on autopilot dating, you believe all the BS guru advice out there, the 3 steps of make money, get jacked, and pick a high-value woman who can cook and clean, who's basically a walking, talking robot that will press your 3 buttons, that doesn't need to have a individuality or a personality or interest or anything. You don't have to look for anything. You just pick them off a shelf like they're a microphone, and they work exactly the way they're supposed to be with a little variation. You get what you pay for. They're a product, right? If you are dating on autopilot like a lot of people, by the way, that I don't suggest you do, my channel, when I talk about relationships and relating to people, is intentionally relating and paying attention to who you are first and seeing if there's a feedback loop with someone else who's in the ballpark of your relatability. So this 3%, I would agree. If you're on autopilot dating, all you're relying upon in finding a decent person to marry, and I would equate this to date, to be serious with, to commit to. So I put them all in the same group: marrying, long-term relationship, trust, you want to have kids with this person, whatever it might be, right? I would agree around 3%, and that might be generous as well, because you're relying on them being raised well, a person that really values innately being honest, fair, and they just don't like dishonesty in games. They don't get off on social media. They're this very rare, peculiar OCD person that's OCD calibrated towards being an upstanding, decent person. 2 cardboard cutout, upstanding, decent people that are just polite, and they can be polite to each other, and they're okay with just being polite, not caring if they're individually compatible, not caring about their personalities. One could be an introvert, one could be an extrovert, but they're both socially polite. Yes, there's less than 3% of people out there. You could just close your eyes, pick them off the shelf like an arranged marriage. I agree. But I say the chances are much, much higher, and I don't know what that number is. It depends on your temperament and how intentional you are with the way you relate to people, how much you abide by your boundaries, how much you talk like I do and really want to express what's true. You don't just pluck out memes in conversation and say, oh, nice day, isn't it? Like, ha, 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 how's the football team and all of that kind of just idle chit chat just to enjoy the warm campfire of the company of another person. I'm talking about intentionally listening to what someone's saying, they listen to you, and you're aware of a real-time conversation and connection going on between you and somebody else. That's what I'm talking about. So I would say if you're on lazy autopilot, there's less than 3% chance that you come across a decent human being that's worth trusting and maybe respecting enough to love, right? But I would say this goes up the more intentional you go about dating and relating to people and relating and going about your own life. Okay. Let me know your thoughts in the stream here. If you're here during the stream, let me know what you think on this. Let's see. Let me pop out the chat too. I'm curious, why couldn't I find the ban button while I'm on the stream? You would think there would be a very obvious button for me, the person conducting it. Oh well, I guess I can always just give a shout out to the moderators to ban somebody. Okay. Sean C, how are you? Okay. Yeah, I think the attention seeker's been kicked off, so that's all good, guys. Big Ol says, hang on, let me get the live chat up. Where is it? No. Is that it? Yes, it is. Ah. He says Sunday morning mass at the Church of Human. I hope not. I never want to be that kind of channel. But hello to you all. All right. Now, first off the bat, have a listen to this chat I had with Boffin a couple of nights ago. Apologies, skip past the first 10 minutes. My fault. I didn't have his audio on because, like most streams now, I have all audio except for my microphone switched off. So you don't get, if I'm looking at something on the internet I want to show you in real time, I can keep talking while I show you visuals. Ads don't interrupt and blare through your ears and things like that. I use the same settings for my other channel that I had a chat on. So go and have a look at this chat I had with Boffin. Boffin came out well out of the gates, so my apologies, man. But after the first 10 minutes, it's pretty sweet, and we had a decent conversation about this. It was about a Reddit post on a couple, if it's true, that they broke up over him not putting a bowl in the sink. And the story by which she portrays him not putting the bowl in the sink is very suspect. I'd never told anything to Boffin about it. I just gave him the story, and the first thing he said is that he thought it was creative storytelling. He didn't quite trust the story she was telling. And this is true, I think, of many people. When they tell you their side of the story, if you go on a date and you ask them about their ex or how their relationship ended, they will portray themselves as angels and this person as this wretch, a villain. And you think, why on earth? You seem fairly level-headed. I picked you and you seem fine. I can't understand why someone so well-adjusted like you would tolerate a couple of years with this person. And then you kind of realize they're embellishing things. They're turning up with their best resume and they're conveniently omitting the truth. Like they're not accurately answering what you're asking. They're omitting certain facts that would place them in the bad light, and they're just portraying themselves as perfect. And so often you get people telling you the story of how they broke up, as in like, I have no idea. It just might be like, I just pick bad people. I'm such a Mother Teresa where I just gave them a chance, and they did this, and they treated me this way. It just sounds like a reality TV horror story. And you think, oh man, you've got a lot of patience. And you think, if this person has a lot of patience, they surely must be a good person, because I think I'm fairly well adjusted or a decent person. So I got nothing to fear. Like, this person's just got a heart of gold. No, they don't. Their story has a heart of gold. It's largely fictional. So have a listen to it. No, this one. Have a listen to it. It was a conversation about this. Now, on to this one here. Now, this comment about only about 3% of women are worth marrying, and I would say lump it into worth committing to in whatever way you want, because I've always been about long-term companionship, commitment, girlfriends, whatever you want to call it, because I don't find that hyperactive treadmill of continual dating on a loop. I don't find it interesting, and I've got better things to do. Even if it's just sleeping in, watching movies, visiting friends, stuffing around and creating things on YouTube, online, whatever it might be, mowing my lawn, even though I don't enjoy that. That's more pleasurable than some ex-girlfriends I've been with. I would rather say, excuse me, I've got to go home and mow my lawn and wash the car and go to the gym. Just anything that I'd rather not do would be preferable to them. So the title was, what are the odds you'll find love? I started thinking about that. And it's very different on your posture and how you go about life. If you're trying to find love or to find success or to achieve a goal that you would dearly love, or to move away from the cesspit that your life currently is, to take a step in the right direction, the odds dramatically improve if you do it honestly and with discipline and as someone you can be proud of looking back after you've gone in that direction. And I would say there are 2 steps to, finding someone in the process as far as I'm concerned. Number 1 is there's objective statistics and timing. Sure. So in terms of who you come across or who you're set up with, or randomly you meet them in public, very rare, but most people, if not the majority of people online day to day, but whoever you come across and whoever you decide to speak to, you need to pay attention to that initial interaction, because it's luck who you come across, right? That's objective stats, luck, everything you need to be aware of. That's the general women or men out there, male nature, female nature. That's luck. That's random, right? That you can judge them generally, objectively via the stats, and you judge them via all of the information, the gurus, the dating coaches, as a stranger, right? That's the luck. I agree. I'm on the same page as all the extremists out there who talk about like, well, you can't trust anyone and blah, 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 right? Until you meet them, until you choose them, until you decide to talk to them, I agree. They're general templates that you should be wary of, and you judge them via the stats and data. But, right, if once you've met them, once a woman becomes Jane that you're talking to and hopefully listen to, then there's subjective intent by you and effort after number 1. So yes, there's the luck of number 1 and all of the generalized male-female nature, hypergamy, laws, divorce stats. She only cares about what you do for her. She doesn't care about you, all of that kind of stuff, right? And you don't even need to communicate. You can just rely on them being a cardboard cutout female animal and you're a cardboard cutout male animal. If you stay at 1, and this is where all the problems occur. And I'm not saying it's not hard, but if you don't take the second step to be subjectively intentional and disciplined in your effort, and I would also contend, if you can't even do it with yourself, with your own health, stop putting 3 donuts down your mouth instead of 1. If you can't take care of your sleeping pattern, walking, notwithstanding any biological hardwiring that you can't help, right? But if you can help it, your lack of will and your laziness plays a big part in everything, and you excuse everything. It's up to you. So I would say the chances of you finding someone good are very low, in single figures. And I would agree generally, if you do not care about the kind of discussion I'm having on my channel about being honest and intentional and direct and open, if you have to say, but human, if I do that, then there's all these dangers that are going to befall me, okay, but you won't get to someone you trust if you've always got a mask on. You're playing the car salesman, and so are they, and you're always having a fencing match of parry and thrust and seeing who is going to win or lose. That's not someone you can trust. That's a competitor. That's your enemy. That's a combatant. That's someone that's always going to be held at arm's length. The intimacy that a lot of people out there frankly think is gone, the intimacy that a lot of people in the comment section think that, oh, well, human, you just got your head in the clouds, you've gone back to the plantation, you're a fantasist, you think that love exists, LOL, fine. Have your wreckage of a life. I know the quality of my life by the intent by which I conduct it, right? So you might think I'm lying, but I'm fairly content in my life, okay? The choices I've made. And if you want to have a discussion with me about, well, the chances of my woman leaving me if X, Y, or Z happens, I will gladly have a rational discussion. I won't get offended. I know where I stand. I can tell you why I love them. I can tell you why I have the life I have. But if there's not that kind of real-time discussion with somebody, then I frankly don't care. Go watch those other channels that resemble reality TV. I would rather watch something that resembles a documentary, a discussion, an interview, an honest conversation. That's what I want to have. Everyone wants to be entertained by dating and relationships, but by saying, well, no, it's informative. No, it's not. It's no more informative than watching Survivor. If you watch Survivor on TV and say, well, I really like it because I'm paying attention to the psychological human interaction between people. I really like it from a biological, what's that discipline that people get into where they in a animal sense, where they observe the interaction between animal species, the human dynamic or something, or the animal dynamic. Anyway, there's a vocation, there is a discipline and a career in that. But if you're watching Survivor and saying, no, I'm not being entertained, I watch it because I'm learning things about human nature, I don't buy it, right? You are being titillated by it being covered in the syrup of reality TV. And under the surface, you can point to, okay, there is sort of, if you read between the lines, something you can learn about human nature, but that isn't the what that show is front loaded with. If you want to learn about that, you would seek out less sensational material. You wouldn't watch the reality TV version of it. You would watch the interview with scientists, with psychologists. You would watch more a documentary style presentation of this thing. Be honest with yourself. And if you're not, I would say, then you get what you get. You really do. If you're always frustrated, and I hope I don't come off as frustrated. I'm passionate about these things, and you can equate passion with being frustrated. I don't frankly care. But if you're not interested in having a content life where you're less and less angry, but more and more rationally skeptical, looking out for yourself, don't want to engage with idiots. Like when I watch Spetsnaz's videos, I see that guy as a fairly controlled, calm guy that's content. I don't see him as someone who gets angry or annoyed. Whereas you see other people that claim to be in the same pool as him really are annoyed, talking about the same things in exactly the same frustrated way. I see them as a Survivor show. I see someone like Spetsnaz and myself and people who I like to talk to and relate and learn something from as being more of a one-on-one catching up with a guy who's got stories, who wants to impart advice, the documentary style relaying of information in an entertaining way that's not kind of really commercial and sensational. It's not about getting clicks. It's really about helping and informing so you can walk away and then use it in life. What the F can I use from the Pearly Things show or the Fresh and Fit show except for drama? Like, there's a reason I'd say guys and girls love watching that, both, not just guys. There's a reason why there's very little intellect and a lot of emotion in those shows. It's because it stimulates that chaos element that we're tired of in relationships. And I can't watch that stuff for very often. I can't for very long. I can't watch reality TV for very often because I've heard people that say, "What's wrong with that? You can learn a lot from watching this from a social interaction point of view. You can learn a lot from watching that." It's like I see a lot of that politics and office drama at the workplace where I used to work. I see a lot of HR and BS, yes means no, and political correctness. I don't need to watch that stress on TV when I come home. I want to be away from that, but somehow people just love it in their workplace. They love it at home. They love it in their friendships. They love it in their relationships. And I don't get it. And then they complain about it. It's like, stop drinking if you don't want the hangover. Oh, but I love it. Well, accept it then. And look, I don't want to be there for the hangover of conversation. I'm not interested in it. It's fine to be there for the sober drinking of something, but once you start getting into the angry hangover, look, I don't care, man. I seriously don't. Anyway, rant over. Just to reiterate, the odds of finding someone compatible for you, I would stress, but I would think it's a given, is one, there is the objective statistics timing of luck at the start. I get that, who you come across. But hopefully you choose someone to pull the trigger and go on a date with, right? Once you do that, you turn them from a general woman or guy into a specific Jane or Bob. Then it's all about, after that initial luck, that initial starting step of your subjective intent and effort by the way in which you conduct yourself, how open you are, how you speak, your yeses and your nos, expressing your boundaries, not ignoring things, not kind of laughing and, oh, has a bit of a temper, but you don't voice it. You just kind of laugh and join in the joke because you see the person has a temper and you think you don't want to get on the bad side of them. So maybe if you avoid that, you will have a happy life. I would say that the moment you start thinking, I need to avoid this with my partner or the person I'm starting to commit to, that will result in a happy life. I would say you're already heading towards a train wreck. If any of those flags pop up, if you think, oh, well, there's a landmine, I will just avoid that area. I will put flags around that landmine so this relationship, I can see where the landmines are. No. I want to meet someone where I don't have to put flags around their sore spots. I want to be able to freely walk around that field and never have to worry about anything. And again, statistically, yeah, sure, there's a chance of me stepping on one. But the more honest and direct you start a relationship, your intent of compatibility, the boring stuff that no one wants to talk about that doesn't get clicks, but is at the bedrock of anything working long term, that is what I'm interested in. So, I put a poll up last night that said, if you could change your attitude and intent, how much better could your love life be? Could. Again, if you don't want to date, respect. It's fine. I never say you need to, and I'm not encouraging guys to. All I'm encouraging is guys who genuinely, if they ask themselves, they do want to find companionship, they want something long-term. They're in my wheelhouse, more or less, but you are your own individual. My blueprint and what I want, my ethics will not be yours. Even the people I get along with really well, our ethics aren't exactly aligned. They're in the same direction, but we've got our own individual ethics that we are thankfully responsible for. And I love those kind of people because you can tend to trust them to be them. You can trust the dog to be a dog. You can trust, because they won't play musical chairs with their personality. So I asked this last night, and it's pretty even across the board. Although compared to last night, it's more leaning towards the bottom, which I would have suspected for myself and people who listen to my content, right? I think it's the same now. Let me refresh the page. You won't see it refreshed here, but yeah, it's more or less the same. The stats haven't changed from my poll. Feel free to go to this poll in my community tab on my channel here and give me your rating. But I would have actually picked 20 to 40% better. 7 to 10 years ago, I would have picked the 70% one. So, and I would still say it would be beholden on us to kind of be in that 20 to 40% range. You're never perfect. You never have the same mood. I can tell you for exact certainty, my mood this week compared to last week is completely different. So if my mood can change and I have no idea why, it could be food, sleep pattern, the weather, temperature, who knows what, radio waves for you people with tinfoil hats on, I don't know. But my mood this week compared to last week is very, very different. And I'm having to manage my motivation this week. And it's really annoying. Last week was effortless. If my mood, my drive can change. Imagine if you're just kind of resigned to being lazy and putting little effort in. You won't change much at all, right? If you think you're perfect and life is sort of pointless and you're very nihilistic and you're 100% certain that men and women are the same and the government's out to get you and there's no point in anything, so you won't lift a finger, and that's kind of conveniently a nice belief system to have, I admit. But you don't get very much. You don't get a video made. You don't get writing done. You don't get a picture painted. You don't get your goals achieved. You don't get fit. Nothing. Like anything you would be proud of doesn't get done. And sitting there like a entitled princess with your arms crossed, waiting for a bouquet of flowers from some high value person that's gonna you can attach yourself to get some of their happiness that they've probably worked for. I would suggest don't be that person. But anyway, I think this is an interesting stat. It's fairly even given the question, so I think that should be edifying for most people. As far as I took a look at last night, Peg had an interesting answer. She said, another study indicated while it may feel harder to find love as you get older, the researchers found that the age group with the best odds were 65 to 75 years old, who had a 1 in 304 chance. The age group with the toughest odds is 18 to 24 years old, who face chances of meeting the one in just 1 in over 1,024. That is interesting. I know when you're young, you're optimistic, you've got a lot of time ahead of you, you can take a lot more chances because you don't know as much and you've got a lot of energy, both physical and mental, and drive. But I would agree with this kind of study. It makes more sense to me because you've got less room you've got less patience for things you don't know work anymore. You know yourself better the older you get. So you would hope you are so specific and you don't give very many people a try. You don't give very many lifestyles a try. You cannot afford to waste the next 5 years, let alone decade or two, with, let me relive my 20s or 30s. You can't do that. I don't want to relive my 20s and 30s. Physically, with energy and vitality and health, yes. But everything else, a resounding no, right? Now, let me have a look if there's any other questions that have been left overnight under that poll. There's about 50 now. Luke said, and actually I think I could bring up, yes I can. I can bring up the browser. Luke said, in order to be as sure as I can ahead of time, I'd contemplate if I'm both worthy of being loved and actually ready to engage in what kind of relationship first before pondering my chances. The phrase worthy of being loved and loved yourself, I think it's it's left a bad taste in my mouth. I know where you're coming from, but the kind of the Oprah-esque meme style sort of self-help, the purple star sign style self-help has really left a bad taste. I know what it means. It's kind of respecting yourself and being good and being completely open and non-apologetic and respectful and, considerate and reciprocal and kind and all that kind of stuff. I get it. But whenever I hear love yourself, I kind of go, ew. And it's just by the reputation that phrase has gotten. But I get what he's saying. Luke continues, so many people get into relationships, whether romantic, physical, or otherwise, without thinking it through first. Yes, think it through first. I'm currently working on a video that I'm going to hopefully release in the next few days that touches on this subject of thinking through things when you meet someone that you seem like, wow, this person is very different. I want to date them. I want to commit to them. You're really paying attention. I'll make a video on an exercise you can use as a thought experiment in real time now to put your current girlfriend, partner, or future, this is the one, to a test by being very honest with yourself and trying to engage with it as a mental exercise. Really useful. I've used it from time to time, and yeah, stay tuned to that. Stay tuned for that video coming up. It increases your chances, if you do it honestly, in assessing a potential partner that you think really is different from all the rest. It increases your chances by 30%. No shit. If you do it honestly. Not a guarantee, of course. Again, these you mathematical spurgs out there will be like, well, not really, because yeah, I don't care. Shut up. Luke continues, being a slave to your hormones due to your own ignorance and or unwillingness to step back and look at the bigger picture usually won't go the way you think it will. I agree. Mark Bill says, I've been with enough women to know that I don't want to be around them anymore. I have chosen this path and I do not regret it. Good for you. I think I left a comment as, yep, good for you. I have no problem with guys that aren't annoyed and throwing mud all at me, at other people around the world. And some of it might be justified. You might have been hard done by it. But at what point do you want to start enjoying your life? If your life was terrible and you want to let people it was terrible, at what point do you stop standing there with at the picket line protesting? At what point do you have you had enough and you've said your piece? I know I've said my piece in many videos in the past. A lot of guys want me to join them at the front picket line like I did back when it meant something to me. Like they'll say that I've gone soft now as I've gotten older, or I found someone compatible with me, that they think I'm a sellout or something. They want me to pretend to be a 20-something, 30-something-year-old when I really believe this in my core and I was that person that was venting. You would have thought I would have learned something by now, you'd hope. I'm very suspicious of people who have not changed in decades. And yeah, it's nice to rely on those people to be the same inanimate piece of furniture in the room. It's great. You come into the room, it's the same old chair. It's comfortable. You can rely upon it. But as a human being, man, when I meet old school buddies that have not budged, and they have not budged by the fact that you meet them and you ask them about their life and all they talk about is the good old days of when we were in high school. And it's like, well, it's kind of nice that you're talking at me with a photo album. It's nice to reminisce. The nostalgia is really nice, but look, I'm catching up with my old buddy. We've gotten older, man. Look at us now. I don't care about us now. We're back there. Can we bring up old photo albums when we were fitter and better looking and had more hair and remember that chick and what that guy did? And it's like, nice. It's like pretending to watch Star Wars for the first time. It's like, dude, let's talk about it in real time. But respect to anyone that's happy with not dating. And this, the arrogance of a lot of women out there, there's guys that are comfortable with being over you. They're not dating anymore. And you can't shame men like this. They're done. They try to be honest actors and be fair and open, and they keep getting played, and women keep playing the reality TV style of dating. Fine. Enjoy your world. I'm done. And a lot of them think that, well, men will always come back because we know guys, they always want us. I can always pull out the naked card and get him to the bedroom. It's like, no, you can't. When guys can't even want you via their hormones, I see guys in their 20s where their hormones are nearly at 10 and they still avoid women. That should warn women, but no. They're so full of their own arrogance, a lot of these women out there, that they think they're queens and that they can take out an OnlyFans account and they're still marriageable and still trustworthy. But for the right guy, I would commit and give all this up. Yeah, sure. Go tell it to some naive 12-year-old sucker out there. Or sorry, 18-year-old sucker. We don't want to get sort of flagged for anything. Jesus Likes Meta said, when I changed my intent and attitude, my game overall improved. However, the caveat was that I was putting on a mask on pretending to be someone I wasn't. I find myself now being older in limbo. I really would like to have a woman who gets me spicy, but I just don't have the same emotional capacity to love women like I did when I was in my 20s. I miss the falling in love feeling, but do not crash when it's all over. Yeah, it's... You know what it is? And I'll get my big head in your face for this. It's when you are no longer afraid of the fake people going away. When you accept that if I'm just myself and I insist on that with the other person and I don't care if the wrong person, reasonably ask yourself, why do you feel so bad that the hot chick that's not for you, the crazy cow that's like, are you going to become like every train wreck she's describing? Is it really a loss that such hard work? Is it really a loss that you don't get this Ferrari that's high maintenance? Really? When you know you just want that Toyota Corolla, is it really a loss? Yes, it's nice to spend 5 minutes with them taking a test drive. But if you're tired of the test drive and you really just want to buy yourself a reliable car that you love, that's dependable, that no matter how much people shame you that it's not a Ferrari, you've just got a laughable Toyota Corolla, do you really care? You want to get to that point where I really don't care. It's like water off a duck's back. I love my car. You can make it much... you can ridicule me as much for not pursuing the Ferraris you idiots are pursuing, that it's so much cost, effort, headache, and is a constant treadmill where you have no time to do anything else in your life. Go for it. You want to get to that point where you're dating Toyota Corollas or Lexuses or, high-end Toyotas, their performance division or something. You check the box of reliability, practicality, and enjoyment. But if you're just going for 10 out of 10 supercar stripper, a story you can post on YouTube or Instagram, go for it. I don't like your life. Have you seen the behind the scenes clips of these supermodels on Instagram, or these perfect white teeth, happy all the time people in social media who have hundreds and millions of followers? They are depressed. They've got videos where they cry when they're being honest in a moment, where they're burnt out. Do you want to not be burnt out? Are you a content creator? This is another way to look at it. I see a lot of people trying to create content in dating, being dating creator kind of people, and burning out, and then every once in a while, in their private moments, they break down and they have these no makeup, I'm lonely, I'm depressed moments. You can keep up the act for likes and peddling hard for, the alpha bro channels, the high value this and bullshit, but you are producing content in a way for likes and algorithmic success, right? But in your own life, when the camera is switched off, when you don't get the social approval, you're not happy in your life. So, David P left a comment. Where is he? David P left a comment. He said, I changed my attitude and intent, and I have a good life. I stopped letting her call the shots as a way to make her happy, and now I take charge in the relationship. I make the best decisions I can, and when things go sideways, I fix it. Good point. Or you try your very best. I'm accountable to myself and my partner. I went from whatever you want, dear, to this is how things will be. I want your input and your help to make this a great relationship for both of us. Acquiescing to her doesn't happen. I lead the gentle firmness, never demanding yet never settling for less than I deserve. Compromise? Yes, when it's the right thing to do for the relationship. That deserves to be pinned, David. That was a really good comment. Why isn't that pinned? Okay. So David really is my kind of person. Incidentally, David, feel free, if you got a microphone, give me a DM and log on every once in a while to the post chats. I'd love to have a conversation with you, because you sound like one of the guys that would, I think, have a nice conversation with the rest of the group. He's always, I get the feeling that David's always thinking the same way I would. And I really like seeing that there's more people out there. Again, I'm not megalomaniac. It's not, sometimes you think it's just you. Do I see the world in this way? Do I want someone, but I'm not going to be a doormat? Yes, I do want to compromise in a fair way that's compatible, like with another person. It's not just going to be my way, but I'm tired of just being a yes machine. So David's comment, I would say 100% yes. A really great comment. Look, some people in this poll, look how many people said pick the 0%. Their life would not improve at all. So either they're perfect, or they've rationally and calmly decided not to have anything to do with women. Or maybe you're close to perfect. I don't know, But there's a lot of people that, like Mr. Bullet, you might be completely fine. I don't know you. He's saying not going to change either. Over 5 years now being single, no dating. I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, fine. You sound like you're fairly cool with it. But there's some people, not you, but there's some people that complain, they're angry, and they're saying, I'm perfect, my life is happy. And they're yelling at you, telling you, I'm very happy, I'm very calm, my life is tranquil. They're talking to you like a wrestler, like Hulk Hogan. Like, listen, brother, they're just ready to snap and they're red. Some people have circumstances where nothing could change. They might have a disability. They might be in a certain situation structurally in their life where they can't get out of a certain situation. They might be a single dad that's got 5 kids, just doesn't have time to date. They wouldn't be able to honestly offer anything to the right woman anyway. They would be subpar even by their own standards. I don't know. 123 Super B says, given current circumstances, nothing would change, and I think most have a good outlook on my approach to relationships at the moment. But I think, and I really hate using this word, but I might have trauma around cheating. Well, yeah, I would argue people who have been cheated on time and time again, and really they did nothing to deserve it. If you can't trust someone at that very basic level, the healthiest thing is just to be out. I'm done. I tap out. I'm not doing it anymore. Like, there's just a pattern of someone cheating, and I've talked to people, I've gone to therapy, and they just say, start again, and you might come across the right person, but you think, I have no fuel left in the trust tank. I have no enthusiasm to date. I can't even think of a reason why I put on close to go on a date. Every time I log on to a dating profile, it's like going to work. I just don't want to. Can I not? Like, logging onto the dating profile feels like I'm a vegan trying to eat meat. I'm just over it. I agree. I might have trauma. Pretty much every relationship has been soured and destroyed by cheating. So when I finally get into a relationship, I'll probably have some trauma, trust issues for a long time. I'm desperately fighting the downward spiral. Yeah, like, objectively, I'm glad that you're so self-aware that you know that you are going to have this effect on the other person, and the other person needs a lot of patience. So at the very least, you might hit the jackpot of finding someone else who's got a similar trauma that you can both in tandem have the same long fuse and time needed to trust another person. Again, the compatibility you have with someone is not just with all the good stuff. It also has to do with some of the unfortunate traumas you've gone through. If you're honestly trying to have a genuine relationship, but you also acknowledge, hey, I've got this baggage, you might need someone who's patient with that baggage, but all you can do is be honest about it. They might say, oh, thank God, me too. I love that we're both open, that we can both admit we've both been hurt by this the same way. We both had similar crappy parents or upbringings, or something bad happened in our lives that no one else can understand, but you do. Sometimes there's a shared trauma, but you don't want to bond over it. I think initially, if you both have the same understanding, the person can understand you via it, and it can give you the patience by which you can understand someone else that has other necessary compatibilities by which you can form a stable, sane relationship. That's good. But I think the best you can do is be honest and upfront, like a lot of these comments are suggesting that they are being. I can't even read some of these really long names. The end of my rope, my dude. He says, I find the attitudes are generally come by quiet, honestly. I don't understand that phrase. So I don't feel a need to change that any more than I feel I need to sand down my calluses. Intent is possibly important, but I don't believe someone can authentically switch from, say, looking for true love and a reliable partner to looking for a polycule that lets them be one of the several dudes in the line of the middling affections of, in all honesty, a hard three. Yeah, you can't pretend to want and feel and desire something you don't. But if you know you don't want to be in this place, I would say there are steps you can go by what you choose. Even if it's not as exciting, you'd rather go in that direction because you rather feel what you'll probably feel if you just push the boulder a little uphill in that uncomfortable direction. You'll have a better life with or without a woman. So it's not always, candy, the direction that you should go. Vero, a member, he says, or she says, today's relationships are almost like sailing through rough waters. Not everyone has their sea legs. Some of us will adapt, some will remain on dry land. Sure. But again, you can't point to, you can't admire sailors and saying, well, they're just lucky. Well, there's a lot of skill involved too. Unfortunately, if you go out sailing today, if dating is equated to sailing, 9 out of 10 days are rough waters and you need to have skill about you. Otherwise, you're just relying on a very small margin of luck that you're going to come out not capsizing, not getting wet. Unfortunately, it's true. Robin says, my attitude after 28 years of marriage is I don't want a relationship or a love life. I want to get laid and I'll call an escort. Fair enough. Again, see, a particular person's rationale behind it, I respect, man. I get it. 28 years? If I had a terrible 28-year marriage, or if I didn't like it, or it's just the last 10 years were just insufferable, and you're free from that Shawshank, and someone's saying, well, there's another prison, right? Or there's another place. It looks like the prison you came from and everything, and you get 3 square meals a day and you get your own bunk, but there's no locks on the doors. You're free to come and go as you want, and you've got a lot of freedom. It's like, I know, dude, but it looks like a prison to me. Just leave me be out here on my own in a hammock in the wilderness between 2 trees. I'm fine. I trust you. There's no bars. It's not a prison. I don't want to go to anywhere resembling the prison I came from, even if it's not. I respect it. Okay? I'm happy with these kind of guys that want to go monk. They want to have nothing to do with women. If you can talk sensibly, I would have a sensible conversation with a feminist. I really would. Not that there are very many of them, because you wouldn't label yourself that anyway. But say you would, a married guy, a divorced guy, anyone. I think we can learn from so many people who will be honest with the story themselves, what they've learned, and not just paint themselves as a squeaky clean, perfect hero, and they were just beset upon by luck. And they were surprised that their ex acted in a certain way. Their breakup was like a bad Hollywood reality TV movie style thing that would be the most popular thing on Netflix, right? That's what their breakup resembles if you hear their story. I don't believe that it comes from nowhere unless you've got this really rare personality switch, a really rare psychopathic narcissist that is a wolf in sheep's clothing waiting for the opportunity to destroy your life because that's what they're about. And then when you research them, your ex had 3 relationships just like yours because that is her psychopathic thing in life, to pick a nice guy, pretend to be all she wants, and then in 2 or 3 years, just when you're about to get married, she turns up at the altar and she takes the mask off and she destroys you in front of everyone else. That is almost non-existent. Most times, if you ask a guy, you saw it after the honeymoon period, at least these character traits: temper, impatience, incompatibilities, the way they treated people. No one is that brilliant of an actor. No one. Like, I'm sure there's like 1 or 2 people in history, I don't know, but your exceptions do not form reality. Peg also left an earlier comment that before her one that I showed before. She said, a study from the University of Bath in the UK shows that the odds of finding love after 60 are 1 in 562, but only if you leave meeting the love of your life to fate. So if you just leave it to fate, and I'm thinking Peg's in that age range of around 60, 1 in 500, nearly 1 in 600 if you just go on autopilot and leave it to luck. However, if you act proactively and take some steps to meet new people, you will likely improve your odds of finding love after 60. Yes, and especially if you don't just kind of meet random new people, but you specifically meet the way you meet people. Say you join a sporting group, you meet people, so at the very least there's something in common, a hobby, a pastime. You go hiking, you enjoy supermarket shopping, or like you meet people at a certain mall or place or restaurant or something. You go for a walk around your neighborhood, so you meet like-minded people that like going for a walk around your neighborhood, so you know they're local. Like, you know what I mean? There's so many things and places you can place yourself in. So there's something anchoring you to some familiarity with that person, and then seeing if there's sort of a compatibility internally. Axel says 100% better, but I value freedom more than love. That's another question for another video. How free do you feel in your relationship? Obviously, you're not 100% free. You have responsibility. You can't just do whatever you want and they're invisible. You have to acknowledge the person. So just like if you have a dog as well, you're not completely free with the dog you absolutely love and you would do anything for, and it loves you unconditionally as well. But you're not absolutely free as well if you have responsibilities outside of yourself. And I would also contend that you're not completely free of your own responsibilities, how you treat your health, yourself, your own mental and physical health. You don't have complete freedom. You have to exercise a little bit, be active, eat right. You can't freely just follow your impulses and your life just gets better and better and better. The discipline involved in curating a much healthier life, mentally or physically, even if you're alone, you don't have complete freedom. You do have responsibilities that engender a healthier life, right? So that's a question to ask you. Even if you do find, how free do you feel in your relationship compared to your exes? If you've changed the intent by which you date and the way you speak now and how open and honest and direct you are to people. That would be an interesting one. There was a question I asked, a comment from last week's stream on this video, this stream, a question to ask on dates, which plays into this thing. And David said the questions he asked were, and these are sensible ones that I've also asked as well. I said David's kind of similar to me the way he thinks. He says, what would any of your exes say about you? Ask this to the chick or the guy. It doesn't really matter. And why did your last relationship end? And a person that doesn't want to talk about these things, I would suggest is afraid or they're trying to hide something. Because I know my kind of person, I know that my kind of compatible person would find it a very, very interesting question. Okay. So my kind of person would relish these peeling of the onion discussions. These are great because I need to be conversationally compatible with someone. These conversations are great questions for someone who's my kind of person, right? And if you have to avoid the kind of compatible person that you are, what was that? I've already met my calorie goals. I just got buzzed via my fitness tracker, via my stationary. I must be burning so much calories already stationary. If I don't do anything, I usually get this warning later in the afternoon. I must be so animated that I've already reached my calorie burning goals for being stationary. Anyway, someone asked me, I think it was a email by Kimberly. I think it was. She was asking, what was this? How do I use it? I mainly use it for my steps. I'm not very pedantic in terms of using a fitness tracker for everything. It is useful in a second way for sleep. When I know I haven't slept well, I can look back on my sleep quality through the week. And I use this one because it doesn't get in the way when you sleep. It doesn't catch under your pillow and all of that as much as, because I used to have a fitness tracker in a watch and it was it wasn't as comfortable to sleep with. It gets caught on a lot of things. This one's almost just like a wristband, you know? So that answers that. Anyway, sidetracked. But David's comment about what questions to ask I thought was really good. So back to the comments here. Let me first see if there's any super chats. Any super chats, people? Yes, we have one by Prince Revolver. Thanks, Prince Revolver, for the super chat. Anyone else wants to ask a question or leave a comment, like Prince Revolver here, there's a little like tab to the bottom right of this video on YouTube. Click that. Unfortunately, like if you really want to share your thought and have it read in real time and me notice it like this, you have to throw me a few coins, but that's the way it is. Otherwise, if you don't want to throw me any donation, just add 3 smiley faces and I'll try to get to it through the stream. But super chat by Prince Revolver, thank you. He says, after a 5-year relationship, I'm too indifferent to the idea of love. I also know I need to improve on myself before I can give or expect love as well. Look, applause, right? And I'm not trying to be woo-woo or touchy-feely. I am really happy when I hear guys talk like this, because a lot of guys stay away from this. And this is precisely the reason we have problems in relationships. It's because we don't want to address the elephant in the room of having boundaries and standing up for ourselves the way we should, knowing that I need to respect myself, which means I need to say my yeses and my nos and tell the person exactly what I what I think, with clear speech, intelligent speech and conversation. And if they don't like it, if they get emotional, if Princess starts crying or screwing her face up like I just fed her a pickle, then it's not my problem. I have every right for once in my life to be honest and avoid the mess of staying quiet and being a nice guy. I want to be a nice, open, expressive guy. If you don't like that, because this is the real me, if you required me to act, sweetheart, bye. Seriously, I don't have any more time to waste. I want to have conversation. I want to be proud of the chick I'm with. I don't want to be embarrassed at parties. I don't want to be waiting for a train wreck to happen just because she's great in bed and she's a high-value male, a high-value female in the eyes of other guys in the manosphere. They would pat me on the back, but when I'm not in front of them online, I've got my eyes open and I can't trust her, and I've got to be worried about if she has a weapon in her hand and she's going to backstab me. Is she going to... If you can't trust this person when social media is off in your real life, if your sleep's not better with this person, this is one thing I noticed with the good relationships I've had. I have slept much, much better with the person that I trust, that I'm compatible with, that I get along with. When I'm on my own, not to say that I don't enjoy my company, you're in your own head a lot. So your mind doesn't switch off. It rarely goes to sleep. And so you don't have a good night's sleep. When I'm with someone like Stephanie, my inner dialogue gets expressed outwardly. And I'm sort of expressing this stuff outwardly. So my inner conversation is like released outwardly. And there's this nice feedback loop. As such, I've spent that conversation out in the real world. And when I go to bed, I've got this more meditative, clear brain that's not running. It's very easy, especially for someone like me, who prides themselves on my intellectual, philosophical curiosity, to say, well, I can't sleep because I've got this thought that's really important and I pride myself on my thinking. But really, if you really wish you could just get a better night's rest, but you can't because this engine won't switch off. And you need to take melatonin or whatever, which, you know, like if you have to, you have to. But all these things are very interesting when you're honest with yourself. The more honest you are, the more you let this stuff out, the more you look for someone where this inner voice is not kept there, where I can share all of this stuff that's important with someone. That's what you want. But thanks for that, Prince Revolver. Did you see me spit? I just spat. Yeah, more guys need to acknowledge where they need to improve. And there's something really great about a guy knowing where I need to improve because then I can achieve something. I need to improve to get this thing, start this thing, construct this thing, construct myself. Then I'm proud of myself. Then I know that if she doesn't like me or it doesn't work, I know where I stand. I objectively know who I am. I don't just respect myself because I'm a nice guy that my mummy as a 5-year-old would pat on the head and would love me unconditionally for being a zero. Being a nice guy is the baseline that everyone should have. Nice girl, nice guy. I stopped even choosing dates where I could see she just wasn't a nice person. I could not see if she had decent morals and ethics and values by which I could see a glimmer of compatibility. Then I could go on a date and discover more of her inner world. But if the person doesn't have a baseline of nice and they're a reality TV bitch, it's like, no, absolutely not. Not, well, she might be good in bed because she's a reality TV kind of person. It's like, no, I've had one, I've escaped from that. Why do I want to go back in prison and try and break out again? Don't throw yourself in prison because it's exciting. Another super chat by Universal Coordinate. Thank you very much. Universal Coordinate says, you can pretend to love. It's so much harder to pretend to respect women. Love differently to pretend respect. Women love differently to men. They do. They do. As long as a woman can admit the difference of her love and you can have an open and honest conversation, I have no problem knowing that women love differently, as long as we're both communicating the honesty of that. She's not gaslighting me and pretending to love me the exact same way. Or if she is, I can trust her because I've known her over time. But we need to understand the very different biological ways that we love differently. Even the way we can separate ourselves from the things we love. Last night I was having a conversation with Stephanie because I was about to do a video today, my stream, about I was going to make it lighthearted and say the things that I didn't like about the Twilight movie compared to the things I did, and connect them to the things that men and women value in our entertainment and how it bleeds off into how we date and what we expect romantically versus how much we can be realistic compared to our romantic entertainment, right? And the more I had a conversation with her, there wasn't also enough meat on the bone to sort of for me to talk about in terms of that. But we were talking about the real differences between what we value in terms of our entertainment and what women will defend compared to what men will. Because I like my old Arnold movies and Rambo movies and Die Hard movies and the cheesy 80s action films, the Van Damme films. I love them, right? But someone can make fun of them, and I'll say, hey, don't make fun of like what I love. But I'll say with a smile on my face, but I'm not taking it seriously. But if someone were to kind of say, hey, you realize this is ridiculous, I'll say, yeah, I know. I'm not going to defend it that it's not ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but it's my entertainment and I love it. It's my childhood, and leave me be, right? But women don't tend to have that same sort of disconnect. I cannot get most women to sort of agree and say, well, I know you like Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey or Bridget Jones' Diary or Three Weddings and a Funeral or whatever it might be, or The Notebook and whatever. I respect that you like it in that fashion, but can we kind of be sober and realize it's ridiculous? Yeah, but no, I can't agree to that. Most women, they find it very hard, or if they can, it's like, yeah, okay. Scientifically, objectively, it's ridiculous, but they want to jump back on defending something they value. They can't really compartmentalize their values in different ways. It's like if they really love the movie, it's very hard for them to dismiss it in any way. So there's very different ways, not just in the way they love a man and how men and women love each other differently, but even the things we love, the quality in which and the boundaries we, how we love these different things, like our entertainment, our hobbies. It's very different. And I would say it also bleeds into men valuing their careers and their callings and the things they want to achieve in life, businesses and changing the world and big things like that, compared to women using men's blueprint and trying to work the same way and have careers the same way. I think they run into the same psychological pitfalls. They can't climb that ladder to the effortless extent to some obsessive CEO the way he can. You just can't. And the women who can are as rare as a lottery win in the US, as a jackpot win. You can't. In the same way, we feel differently about the movies we love. We feel differently about love in and of itself, the way we value it between men and women. We value career differently. And trying to make men and women agree and feel and value the same thing the same way is just stupid. So yeah, universal coordinate, extending to what you sort of said. Pretending to love, you can't. You can't pretend to want something if you don't. You can't even pretend to want it in the same way that everyone says you should. Well, if you want love, you've got to go to the gym, you've got to start a business, you've got to have $1 million. You've got to be a high value man with A, B, C, D, E checklist and whatever. Suggestions, fine, but axioms and a Bible that you jump through these hoops to get to the goal that everyone agrees is a valuable goal. No, the goals that I love in my life are not your goals. Look, I guarantee you, I was saying this to Karu. I said, you know, all the high value things that the manosphere says, if you get A, B, C, D, E, right, in a woman, marry her, right? You don't have to have a discussion. If she cooks, if she has a body count of less than 3, if she cooks like a 5-star Michelin chef, if she's blah, 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 whatever. The top 5 objective things, regardless of what kind of person she is, if she has those, you can ostensibly be set up on a blind date and you will marry that person, right? That's the rules, apparently. I can tell you without a doubt, Stephanie, my woman, she has none of those top 5. And I know exactly why I love her, and I know exactly why she's different from the circus of all these cardboard cutouts I was trying to date in the past. She has virtually none of the top 5 checklist of objective things that if they don't have it, ignore her. This is what I mean about intentionally dating and knowing who you are and what you want. Then you can have genuine conversations, and then you know why you trust this person on a date. Then you know you can answer why you love them. You don't answer why you love someone if you're in a relationship with them by saying, because she cooks really well, she's a 10 out of 10, because she is a high value woman, because she is a porn star in the bedroom, because she, great. Like get the approval of the world and then live with the world's approval in your 4 walls, and be bored and depressed and need your 2 hours in the shed at night because you're dating a ghost. You're dating a living robot. You really are. It's so stupid. I don't know if it's because I'm more creatively and artistically inclined, that I really think that a lot of life's enjoyment is an aesthetic appreciation. And your aesthetic appreciation in your life is really due to you being honest with what you want and having real and honest conversations, admitting when you're wrong, admitting when you're right, and standing up for your values and things like that. I don't get it why people don't care. And if you don't care, neither do I. If I didn't care, I don't think you guys should. I can't sit here whinge about where I just can't get the things I want, and I'm going about it like the same 5-year-old or the same spurg I was when I was a teenager. Anyway, back to the chat. Let's see. This was the term I was looking for. Thank you, Just a Guy. I was looking for anthropological. This was the vocation, the profession that studies the interaction of animal species. That's the word I was looking for. Couldn't care less about 3% odds. Me neither. But I feel like it's interesting to talk to, because I would say Just a Guy and a lot of the other regulars, we enjoy hanging out with each other to remind ourselves of, like, to just kind of stay sharp and be the best we can be, not to get fat, not to get unfit mentally and like just generally in our lives and structurally. It's like if you've been unhealthy and now you're fitter and better, and there's a line below which you don't want to drop. And I'm preaching to the choir, I realize, but hopefully new people that come in that need a boost up, or who were me or any one of you 5 or 10 years prior, I think I'm happy to help these guys go forward and be, better in their own lives. So, yep. Let's see. Let me switch to, am I in live chat? I am. Live chat. Any other questions, guys? If you are here during the live stream, add 3 smiley faces like this. This is an example here. Before your comment, if you're here, before you comment here, put 3 little smiley faces or yellow circles or something, and I'll look for it during this, and I'll know it's directed towards me, a question or something you want to say on the stream live. Otherwise, super chat me. The link to the super chat is down here somewhere below this video on the YouTube page, and you will pop up. So this was an interesting poll. And if I had to place myself, I would say I would place myself in the 20 to 40% continually now. But 5 to 10 years ago, yeah, I would say, if I was being honest, around the 60 to 70% mark. I didn't want to just get a little bit better. I was tired of a lot of the dating bullshit, and I wanted to get a lot better. I wanted to leave it behind me. When you're tired of a smell, you don't want to just lower the smell by 50%. You want the smell gone. So, have you changed the way you date at all? This was a question I was thinking. And this is something that should circle this stream. Have you changed the way you've been dating at all? Or are you perfect? Are you content? Are you fine? If you are, hats off to you. I've talked to a lot of guys in their 20s that I can tell they're very cool and calm and collected, and they are very fine with not dating. They're very cool with the way they're not dating. And I wish I was like that. I wish I was that self-assured. I wasn't. I was naive, fumbling around, dodged a few landmines, and made a lot of mistakes. And luckily avoided any really bad repercussions like, hello, I'm pregnant and I'm keeping the child regardless of what you say. Like, I'm well aware, especially the younger I was, I avoided some of that. But also I was very paranoid about that, so you can imagine my precautions as well. I would say your chances, this comment, right? This is true again, I want to reiterate, if you just believe the whole high value man, high value woman rhetoric, you wish that women would change, and if you're a girl, you wish that guys would change. If you're always just on this us versus them thing and nothing is personal, you just want men or women to be a product you can confidently go to the supermarket, like milk, take it off the shelf and trust that it's not past its use by date. It tastes like milk. It is milk. If you are one of these people, I don't know why you watch my channel, because I was one of these people and I just kept running into, like, people aren't like that. They're not. Objects and some jobs are like that, but relationships are the only thing that are nothing like going to the supermarket and expecting to get milk when you want to buy milk and you say you want to buy milk. Most autopilot relationships, the 3% of luck, is you go into the supermarket with your eyes closed and you just fumble around grabbing the first thing you touch just because you went into a supermarket. That's really what it tends to be. You have to take the blindfold off and intentionally go and get the milk. You really do. The biological pragmatists out there, they really think that if you study women as animals and you study the stats, that you will get the emotional, personal, one-on-one qualities from that objective stance getting into relationships. It's great to vet the idiots before you go on a date, but once you decide to go on a date and you find yourself attracted to someone with your hormones, man, you better have tried to date Jane and not just date a woman. If finding someone feels like a game of chance, and to you every random person is a stumble across chance, then yeah, I would offer try dating more intentionally. So, do you need more than the biological high value female? Because for me, the high value female, what my high value female is? She's a decent person that communicates directly and fairly, right? That's it. That's my high value female. Why do I keep saying? I think it's because I keep hearing high value male as a meme on the internet that I'm sick of it. A high value female to me is just the entry level baseline of they need to be decent, fair, kind, and communicate, and be able to trust them enough over time. That's a high value female to me. What's yours? If yours is Michelin star chef, screws like a porn star, but is not, and magically is a virgin or has only had like 1 to 3 like whatever your whatever your standards are, whatever your high value woman is, I would suggest make sure it's very realistic, man, because you are going to have an awful time trying to make that fantasy come to life, and it almost always cannot. But if you date realistically and pragmatically, and it's dating realistically initially is a black and white, very simple kind of no fanfare kind of movie, so it can turn into color after the honeymoon period. But if you want it to be color and full of like fireworks, you are going to if you insist upon that, you are always going to stumble into reality TV style relationships. You really will. But if you insist it's your life, use it wisely or throw it away recklessly. It's up to you. Because I don't care. Even if your parents mean the best for you, at the end of the day, they can't do anything. So they don't care anyway, because they've got limits to the amount they can help you. And certainly all your so-called friends and your peers in your little groups on the internet, they don't care. They're not even going to help you move a couch, or if you lose your way or you lose your job and you got no one. Like, just see where your group of friends are on the internet. They might sympathize and say, "Oh, that's bad." Look at the guy, full sympathy to the guys in the old school manosphere. There were some guys that got cancer and they ended up living in their car, and everyone gave them sympathy, but at the end of the day, they were all alone. They really did not have any friends. They had virtual friends that made them feel better because I don't know, like even Vention, like he was a cool guy, but at the end of the day, he kind of died alone. What real Manosphere friends did he have? Maybe he did, I don't know. But I encourage everyone to have real relationships and try and have a better real life, not just a theoretical, perfect intellectual life online like a video game. You've got this perfect, curated virtual video game life, but your real life is terrible. You in essence, your real life resembles, if it's the Matrix, your real life resembles Neo without the ship floating around. You're just like walking the sewers in the real world, and you don't have anything. You can't even be plugged into any tech. That's your real life. But your virtual life is great. You can jump buildings. That wasn't the lesson of the Matrix. I think it's gotten warped into something else. But anyway, we've been going for quite a while, nearly an hour and a half. Thank you for showing up. I really had a lot of fun with this one. Watch the chat on my chat channel. It's not on this main channel. It's on my chat channel between myself and Boffin. Skip ahead to 10 minutes. I think I put a timestamp in the low bar where you can skip ahead. And it was a really interesting discussion. I hope to do more of those group discussions and chats on my chat channel. I'll catch you on the next stream, or possibly a new video that's dropping soon that I'm really excited about, that could help a lot of you guys in your kind of thinking. It's a really interesting thought model you can use very quickly if you're honest with yourself, and it can improve whether or not your relationship will last, or even if you've actually got an honest one, if you're dating the right kind of person. So stay tuned. Enjoy your Sunday or Saturday night if you're in the US, depending on your time zone, and I will catch you very soon. Bye. Oh, like, subscribe, jump on Gilded if you have a microphone, do all the fun stuff, and I'll catch you later. Bye.